The fascination of human traditions. Hey everyone, have you ever seen something so wild or so heartwarming in another country that you thought, wait, people actually do this? Well, get ready, because today we are traveling across the globe to explore unique traditions that you believe actually exist. From festivals that involve tomato fights and baby jumping ceremonies to celebrations of light, fire, and love. These traditions prove just how beautifully diverse humanity truly is. So grab your imaginary passport, because we are about to journey into the most fascinating cultural rituals and traditions from around the world. Why traditions matter. Before we jump into the wild stuff, let's talk about why these traditions exist in the first place. Traditions are the heartbeat of a culture. They connect generations, tell stories, and reflect what people value most, whether it is family, faith, courage, or even a sense of humor. What is fascinating is how something that feels completely normal in one country can seem utterly bizarre to someone from another. And that is exactly what makes exploring culture so exciting. It opens your mind, challenges your assumptions, and reminds you how creatively humans celebrate life. Tradition 1. La Tomatina, Spain's giant tomato fight. Let's start with one of the messiest, craziest, and most joyful festivals in the world. La Tomatina, held every August in Bugle, Spain. Imagine 30,000 people packing into a tiny town square, and then throwing over 100,000 kilograms of ripe tomatoes at each other for 1 hour straight. Yes, it is exactly as chaotic as it sounds. The streets turn red. Everyone is covered in tomato pulp, and it looks like a food fight from a cartoon. But here is the catch. It is not just random chaos. This tradition started in the 1940s when some local kids joined a parade, grabbed vegetables from a nearby stall, and started playfully throwing them at each other. The town loved it so much that it became an official festival. Now, it is what people fly in from everywhere to be part of the fun, and there is one rule you must follow. Squash the tomato before throwing, because no one likes a tomato bruise. Tradition 2. Baby Jumping Festival, Spain, yes. Really? Believe it or not, Spain appears again on our list with something even more surprising. El Calacho, also known as a Baby Jumping Festival. Every year, in the village of Castelló de Meirasha, grown men dressed as devils literally leap over rows of newborn babies. Before you panic, yes, it is completely safe. The babies are laid carefully on mattresses, and the devils are trained performers. The idea is symbolic. The jump represents cleansing the infants of sin and bringing them protection and good luck for life. This tradition dates back to the early 1600s and still happens every year after the Catholic feast of Corpus Christi. It is one of those events that makes you realize people express faith and hope in ways that are as creative as they are unique. Tradition 3. Firewalking. Fiji, Greece, and India next. We are turning up the heat, literally, with firewalking. This tradition exists in multiple cultures around the world. In Fiji, villagers walk barefoot across red-hot stones during a firewalking ceremony that is centuries old. In Greece, during the festival of Anasenaria, people walk over burning coals while holding icons of saints. In parts of India, devotees do the same as an act of spiritual purification and devotion. Now, the crazy part is that most participants do not get burned. Scientists say it has to do with physics. The heat does not transfer fast enough from the coals to their feet. But the locals believe it is something deeper. Faith over fear. No matter how you look at it, watching someone calmly walk across fire is both mesmerizing and humbling. Tradition 4. The Kukeri Festival, Bulgaria. All right. Let us head to Eastern Europe for one of the most visually stunning traditions you will ever see, the Kukeri Festival in Bulgaria. Every winter, men wear elaborate, handmade costumes covered in fur, feathers, beads, and gigantic bells. They parade through towns performing dances meant to scare away evil spirits and bring prosperity for the new year. The masks are absolutely wild, colorful, monstrous, and unique to each village. Some even have horns taller than a person. It is loud, it is magical, and it is one of the most ancient surviving pagan rituals in Europe. The whole experience feels like stepping into a fantasy movie. Asia and Africa's most unbelievable traditions. Tradition 5. Monkey Buffet Festival, Thailand. Alright, picture this. You are in the town of Lopburi, Thailand. Suddenly, you see hundreds of monkeys eating a buffet of fruits, vegetables, and even cake, all laid out on silver platters. Sounds like a scene from a cartoon, right? But it is completely real. Every November, the locals of Lopburi host the Monkey Buffet Festival, a huge celebration where monkeys are treated like royal guests. The festival started as a way to thank the local monkey population, which is believed to bring good fortune and prosperity to the town. The macaques are everywhere, climbing statues, eating watermelon, and causing adorable chaos. It might sound wild, but it is one of Thailand's most heartwarming and unique ways to honor harmony between humans and animals. Tradition 6. Japan's Hanami, the cherry blossom celebration. Now let's move to Japan, where one of the most beautiful traditions on earth takes place every spring, Hanami, or the Cherry Blossom Festival. For a few magical weeks each year, cherry trees bloom across Japan, covering parks and streets in soft pink petals. People gather under the trees to picnic, sing, and simply enjoy the fleeting beauty of nature. But Hanami is more than just flower. It is a centuries-old tradition that represents the Japanese concept of mono no aware, the bittersweet appreciation of life. It's impermanence. Families, friends, and co-workers all come together to celebrate the moment, because in just a few days, the petals will fall, reminding everyone that beauty, like life, is temporary but precious. It is peaceful, poetic, and incredibly human, a perfect example of how tradition can turn something simple into something deeply meaningful. Tradition 7. Taipasim, Malaysia, and Singapore. Next, let us talk about one of the most intense and visually striking religious festivals in the world. Celebrated by Tamil Hindus in Malaysia, Singapore, and India. During Thaipusam, devotees honor Lord Murugan through acts of devotion and penance. Some carry massive decorated structures called kavadis on their shoulders, while others pierce their skin, tongues, or cheeks with sharp skewers, all in a state of deep meditation and faith. It might look shocking to outsiders, but for the participants, it is a powerful spiritual experience, a way to show endurance, discipline, and gratitude. Despite the intensity, the energy of the festival is overwhelmingly positive. Music, chants, bright colors, and thousands of people walking together in faith. It is one of those moments that make you realize how strong belief can truly be. Tradition 8. The Wadabe Courtship Dance, Niger. Now, we are heading to West Africa to meet the Wudaba people of Niger, who celebrate one of the most fascinating courtship traditions on the planet, the Girwal Festival. Once a year, Wudaba men dress in elaborate costumes, paint their faces with bright colors, and perform hypnotic dances to attract potential partners. Here is the twist. Unlike many other cultures, it is the women who choose their partners. They watch the dancing men closely, looking for beauty, grace, and charm. And beauty standards here are unique. Men are judged by how white their teeth are, how big their eyes are, and how well they can roll them during the dance. The festival lasts 4 days, filled with singing, flirting, and vibrant displays of culture. It is one of the most joyful and empowering celebrations of love you will ever see. Tradition 9. The Festival of Light, Diwali, India. Of course, we cannot talk about global traditions without mentioning Diwali, one of the most beautiful festivals in the world, celebrated by millions across India and beyond. Known as the Festival of Lights, Diwali marks the triumph of light over darkness and good over evil. Families decorate their homes with glowing oil lamps called dayas, burst fireworks, share sweets, and exchange gifts. It is a time of renewal, forgiveness, and joy. Every street sparkles with color. The air is filled with the scent of sweets and incense. And the message of Diwali, hope, positivity, and the victory of light transcends religion and nationality. It is more than a celebration. It is a reminder that no matter how dark life feels, light always finds a way to return. Tradition 10. Holi, the festival of colors, India and Nepal, while we are still in South Asia. let's talk about another breathtaking celebration, Holi, the festival of colors. If you have ever seen videos of people throwing colored powder in the air and dancing joyfully, that is Holi. It is celebrated at the end of winter and marks the arrival of spring, symbolizing love, forgiveness, and new beginnings. During Holi, everyone, regardless of age, background, or status, becomes equal. You'll see people running through the streets, covered in bright reds, yellows, blues, and greens, laughing and dancing to traditional music. It is chaotic, it is fun, and it perfectly captures the spirit of togetherness. It is not just a party, it is a message. Life is too short not to celebrate the colors around you. The Americas and Oceania's wildest traditions. Tradition 11, the pumpkin boat, regatta, USA and Canada. Okay? Let's start with something that sounds like a Halloween prank, but is 100% real. The pumpkin boat regatta in places like Damariscotta, Maine, and Windsor, Nova Scotia. Locals gather every autumn for a race, unlike any other, where the boats are made out of giant hollowed-out pumpkins. Competitors carve enormous pumpkins, some weighing over 700 pounds, sit inside them and paddle across a lake. Yes, you heard that right. Grown adults literally rowing inside pumpkins. It started as a quirky community event, but has now become a beloved annual tradition. The crowd cheers. People decorate their pumpkin boats, and there's even a costume contest. It's fun, silly, and a perfect example of how small towns turn creativity into unforgettable celebrations. Tradition 12, Polar Bear Plunge, USA, Canada, and Northern Europe. Next up, let's dive into something much colder. The Polar Bear Plunge. Every New Year's Day, thousands of people across North America and Europe strip down to their swimsuits and jump into freezing cold water, often surrounded by snow and ice. Why? To start the new year with courage, clarity, and a massive adrenaline rush. The Polar Bear Plunge began as a charity event, but it quickly became a symbol of mental toughness and community spirit. From Vancouver to New York to the Netherlands, people gathered by the thousands to run, scream, and splash through icy water. It's absolutely freezing, but there's always laughter, hot chocolate waiting afterward, and that proud moment of saying, "I did it!" A little crazy? Definitely. But that's what makes it awesome. Tradition 13, Dia de los Muertos, Mexico. Now, let us head to one of the most colorful and meaningful traditions in the world, Dia de los Muertos, or the Day of the Dead, celebrated in Mexico and across Latin America. Unlike what the name suggests, it's not a sad event. It's a vibrant, joyful celebration of life and memory. Every year, families create beautiful altars called ofrendas, decorated with marigold flowers, candles, sugar skulls, and photos of loved ones who've passed away. They cook their favorite foods, play their favorite music, and share stories, believing that the souls of the departed return for one night to visit. It's a fusion of Aztec and Catholic traditions, blending ancient spirituality with modern festivity. The message is powerful. Death isn't the end. It's simply another part of the journey. And if you've ever seen the movie Coco, you've already felt a small glimpse of how emotionally beautiful this tradition really is. Tradition 14, the Haka, New Zealand. Now, let us fly over to Oceania for one of the most iconic cultural expressions on Earth. The Haka of the Mbori people in New Zealand. You've probably seen it performed before, but the Haka, ISNT just a sports chant, it is a deeply spiritual and cultural dance that represents strength, unity, and respect. Traditionally, the Haka was performed to prepare warriors for battle with powerful movements, loud chants, and intense eye contact meant to show courage and intimidate opponents. But it's not only for war. The Haka is also performed at weddings, funerals, and community gatherings as a way to honor guests, show love, or express collective emotion. Watching a group perform the Haka in perfect rhythm, every stomp and shout echoing from the heart, it gives you chills. It's a tradition that proves that power and respect can exist side by side. Tradition 15, the Lantern Floating Festival, Hawaii, USA. And finally for this section, let's end on something truly peaceful. The Lantern Floating Festival in Hawaii. Every Memorial Day, Thousands of people gather along the shores of Honolulu to release glowing paper lanterns into the ocean. Each lantern carries a handwritten message, a wish, a prayer, or the name of a loved one who has passed away. As the sun sets, the sea fills with thousands of flickering lights drifting gently across the water. It's breathtakingly beautiful. This tradition draws from both Japanese Toro Nagashi and Hawaiian Aloha spiritual customs, creating a blend of remembrance, unity, and hope. It's quiet, emotional, and deeply moving. A reminder that no matter where we're from, humans all seek ways to honor love and memory. Reflection: what makes these traditions so inspiring is how different yet similar they are. A man in Niger paints his face to find love. A woman in Japan sits under cherry blossoms to appreciate life. A family in Mexico builds an altar to honor their ancestors. And a group of friends in Hawaii sends lanterns across the sea to say goodbye. Different languages, different rituals, but the same universal emotions: love, courage, faith, and connection. That's the beauty of it all. Our differences make the world magical, but our hearts beat to the same rhythm. Modern traditions and a global message. Tradition 16, Cheese Rolling Festival, England all right. Get ready for one of the craziest things you ever see. The Cheese Rolling Festival at Cooper S. Hill in Gloucestershire, England. Every spring, hundreds of people gather on a steep hill. At the top sits a 9-pound wheel of double Gloucester cheese. When the signal sounds, the cheese is released and everyone sprints downhill after it. Now, here's the twist. The hill is so steep that almost everyone tumbles, slides, and rolls down. The goal is simple: catch the cheese, or at least cross the finish line first. It's chaotic, it's hilarious, and it's surprisingly dangerous. Sprained ankles and bruises are basically guaranteed. But that doesn't stop anyone. People travel from all over the world just to chase that runaway cheese wheel. It's pure madness, but it's also pure joy. A reminder that sometimes tradition doesn't have to make sense to make you feel alive. Tradition 17, Boryong Mud Festival, South Korea next. Let's get messy again, this time in Boryong, South Korea, home of the famous Mud Festival. What started as a marketing idea to promote the region's mineral-rich mud has turned into one of Asia's biggest summer celebrations. Every July, the beaches of Boryong transform into a gigantic playground. Mud slides, mud wrestling pits, obstacle courses, concerts, fireworks, and thousands of people absolutely covered from head to toe in mud. It's fun, it's wild, and it's actually good for your skin. Locals and tourists join together, laughing, slipping, and dancing. And when night falls, the music keeps going with beach parties that lasts until dawn. It has a modern tradition that shows how simple, fun, and shared laughter can connect people from all over the world. Tradition 18, Silent Disco, the Netherlands and beyond. Now here's something completely different. The silent disco. It first became popular in the Netherlands, but now it's everywhere from London to Tokyo to Sydney. Imagine a giant party with hundreds of people dancing together. But there's no music playing out loud. Everyone's wearing wireless headphones, listening to their own DJ channel. To an outsider, it looks like total silence, just a sea of people moving in rhythm, laughing and singing quietly. But once you put on the headphones, you enter another world. It's inclusive, eco-friendly, and surprisingly intimate. You can switch channels, change your vibe, or even talk without shouting. It's proof that even the newest traditions can become powerful symbols of connection and creativity. Tradition 19. Burning Man, USA. Alright, now we can talk about modern traditions without mentioning Burning Man, the legendary festival held in Nevada's Black Rock Desert. Every year, tens of thousands of people come together to build a temporary city dedicated to self-expression, art, and community. For 1 week, money doesn't exist. Everything operates on gifting and sharing. People create massive art installations, drive glowing mutant vehicles, and dance beneath the desert stars. The event ends with the burning of a giant wooden figure known as the Man, symbolizing release, renewal, and freedom. It's wild, creative, and deeply spiritual in its own way. Some call it chaos. Others call it home. But no matter how you see it, Burning Man reminds us that humans crave meaning, creativity, and connection, even in the middle of a desert. Tradition 20, Uphelliea, Scotland. And to finish our global tour with fire and pride, we head to Scotland for the Uphelliea Fire Festival in the Shetland Islands. Every January, locals celebrate their Viking heritage with torches, parades, and the burning of a giant Viking longship. Men and women dress in traditional Viking armor, carrying flaming torches through the dark winter streets, while music echoes through the cold night. The grand finale. Thousands of torches are thrown onto the wooden ship, setting it ablaze in a spectacular sea of fire. It's bold, dramatic, and breathtaking, a tribute to ancestry, courage, and unity. The big picture. What these traditions teach us. When you step back and look at all of these traditions, from ancient rituals to modern festivals, one truth stands out. Humanity loves to celebrate. We celebrate birth, death, love, fear, nature, courage, and community. We turn everything, even mud, tomatoes, and cheese, into a reason to come together. These traditions might look strange, funny, or even unbelievable, but they all serve the same purpose: to make us feel connected to something bigger than ourselves. In every corner of the world, people have found their own way to say, "We are here. We belong. We remember. We celebrate." And that's what makes travel so powerful. When you witness these traditions firsthand, when you stand among people singing, dancing, or crying together, you realize that we're not all that different after all. Final thoughts. So, the next time you travel, do not just visit the famous landmarks. Step off the beaten path. Talk to locals. Ask about their customs, their holidays, their traditions. Maybe you'll find yourself painting your face in Niger, or tossing colored powder in India, or releasing a lantern into the ocean in Hawaii. Because travel isn't just about seeing places, it's about understanding people. And when you embrace their traditions, even just for a moment, you become part of their story, and they become part of yours. If you loved exploring these unbelievable traditions from around the world, make sure to hit that like button. It really helps this channel grow. Subscribe to Vista Living Travels for more incredible travel stories, cultural deep dives, and guides that inspire you to see the world differently. And tell me in the comments, which of these traditions would you actually try? Would you jump into icy water? Throw tomatoes? Or maybe chase cheese down a hill? I read every comment, and I love hearing your travel dreams and ideas. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep celebrating the amazing diversity that makes our world so beautifully human. See you in the next video!